Well, there we are. Welcome to South Northampton. So, I'm pottering around, brought the car, and Helen's putting a parking ticket on. And I'm just going to have a little nose and see what we can see up here. Having to be careful, because obviously, if there was a trip hazard to find, I'd find it, wouldn't I? Let's face it. This is rather nice, actually. So, there's a CRT place here, some sort of visitor centre, boat trips and canal boats and a little place to sort of sit as well. This is all very nice. Helen's struggling with the parking ticket. The machine is not playing ball. But yeah, it's a nice little spot. There's also a couple of pubs, and we're going to try and get into them in just a moment. One, we missed the car park to, obviously. In fact, better than that, actually, we missed this car park, drove up, turned around to come back to this one, and realised that we were turning around in the second car park. So in terms of getting lost, I think that is way up there. Right, let's press the button. Now, Jeremy Clarkson said if you put this next to your head, it makes it go further. I'm not sure if that's 100% accurate or not, but it did seem to work on this occasion. This is very, very pleasant. What a nice way to spend the evening. And, so this is quite interesting. So this is an old bit of a lock. I've pushed many of those and nearly taken my back out on several occasions. So, most important question that a gentleman can ask: how to get to the pub? Time is now gone 6. It's the glasses again, isn't it? Right, so we have to cross the lock to get to the pub. Now, I don't mind. I've skipped across locks many a time. Never fallen in yet. First time for everything. Now, for those of you that have never operated a lock before, and even for some of those that have, you will know that operating a lock can be, well, you can break your blasted back if I'm perfectly honest. So the idea is you've got 2 water levels. There will always be a higher and a lower point, even if it's only a few inches, which I have seen, or this is a few foot. So you want to get your boat from there, through there, and out the other side, or coming up. So if the boat's going in this way, you have to raise the water here first, and you do that with your wine glass, or windlass, as it should more probably be pronounced, I believe, which you have on your boat, and you plug on there, and you turn that, and that operates the sluice gates, which are basically little paddles that go up and down on there. And that's how you adjust the water, and then you open the gates to let yourself through. I promise you, even a millimetre's difference in water level, and you'll never open that gate. The sheer weight of it with the pressure of the water won't happen. So it's it's always wise. Now, Helen went over the bridge. There isn't always a bridge. Sometimes you have to climb the lock. And you literally, and these bits here. So these that's so that when you're operating, you put your back to this and you've got something to push against. Oh, that is actually at the right level. So yeah, that will actually open if I push on that. On this occasion, I won't be a silly what's it, and I won't climb the lock. Oh, that's lovely. Oh, this... I'm going to buy another boat now, aren't I? Well, look. Ah. I've got such wonderful memories taking my boat through the locks. And if you do one lock on your own, it's quite hard because you have to, if you start at the top, say, you have to get this level of water right first. So you pull your boat up on those little, on these here, look, and there's some down the far side. So you tie your boat off and then you have to get the water level right and you set that up. And when you've done that, you open that gate, you bring your boat in, and you have to tie it off on there. And then you close that gate, and then you open those sluice gates to let the water out, and the boat then starts to drop. So you have to run back and grab your boat on the rope, and you're holding it, because obviously otherwise the rope will go tight and the boat will tip on its side. So if you've got two people, it's so much easier. And then, although you probably shouldn't, what you can do is you take your side rope and you thread it over one of the tops of the stairs because they're quite secure, and you then just hold that. You hold and you just feed the rope or pull it tight, depending. Somebody else does the gates for you, whilst you do the easy bit, and then you leave the engine running and everything. My mate Steve and I, Steve might be watching, we had such blasted great fun. I'm going to end up with another boat. I just know it. Right, find Helen. Back in a sec. Right, thoroughly unsuccessful in my quest to find Helen. I don't know how anyone can lose their wife, but I seem to have managed it. There was talk of an ice cream. I was talking for a pint as well. So yeah, these CRT taps, so you can get fresh water when you're on the canal. And usually they're locked off with a padlock, and it's like a universal key. So if you buy your key for 10 quid, you're able to access any water point, any CRT toilet, any like bin sheds and what have you. Used to have one. I think I left it on the boat. So it's a nice little canal shop here. Let's have a look. Ah, yes, very, very nice. Tempted to buy a boat. Oh, my phone's just gone ping. Now I can't really see it very well. Oh no, I think somebody. Oh, I've just found Helen, and having lost her. Right, I'll go and check in. Back in a minute. So they've even got, I know, wrong glasses. They've even got a dry dock here. I don't think it can be in normal usage, mainly because I think that boat has been there for a while. But yeah, I think it's actually, I wonder, is it just because this is like a canal like museum thing and it's just showing how it works? I don't know. So this is where we are. Seven locks. This is the top lock. Where's the others? They've got to be down there, haven't they? Let's have a little look down here, because ooh, a flight of locks. Oh yes, look. So there's a series of books called the Nichols Guide. So there's others I think are available as well, but the Nichols Guides, they're sort of like the Ordnance Survey, I suppose, but they orientate around the navigatable rivers and canals. Tell you where all the locks are. They tell you the bridge numbers. So I don't know if we can see a bridge number. Sometimes they've dropped off, but every bridge has a number. I can't see it through this willow. I don't want to go slipping. Go through the... Right, oh yes, there we are, look. I can't see what it actually says, but it's in there. So that tells you where you are if you get lost. So a flight of locks, 7 locks. We won't walk all the way down there, but there's quite a drop in the level of the canal. This is the Grand Union. So it's a lot of work. Sometimes they prevent you from mooring for like a prolonged period in the middle of the flight of locks. So even though there is like space there, the idea is that this is just about the sort of the junction, if you like. And so for that reason, it's once you start, you can't stop. You've got to keep going. And there are some flights of locks that are in like 14 or so. So that's when you start, you've got to keep going. Right, where are we here? Got on the road. I think I know roughly where I am. So that's the road bridge, and we're just going to cross over here and go back down. Yeah, nice. Be nice to live there. Look, overlooking that, you could just step out, and there'd be the canal right on your doorstep. Yeah, very nice. Right, I'm going to finish my drink, I think. Or have some of it anyway. We'll sit down, have our little drink. Oh, out of breath now. Just imagine how I'd been if I did that flight of locks. Cheers. When I started my boating years ago, this was exactly what I had in mind. Like-minded gentlemen sat around with a pint. A lovely, warm, pleasant summer evening. Unfortunately, that wasn't quite the reality that I found. But you know what? I would do it again in a heartbeat. I have mentioned about a boat before. I'm very tempted right now, because let's face it, every day would be like that, and none of it would be wet or miserable. There would never be a cloud in the sky. There wouldn't even be a wasp. I don't like wasps. There's one there. But it would be like this. I'll have a think. I might. I do sort of wonder, think about the community that would have been here sort of like 70, 80 years ago. This would have been a working operational lock. And or flight of locks. And these would have all been like lock keepers' cottages and what have you. You know, and they're probably, sort of like, well, how many houses are there? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. I think it's about 10 buildings. So that would have been at least, sort of 10 blokes that would have, probably operated and worked these locks and helped people through and what have you. Because don't forget, the canals 70 years ago were transporting coal and what have you. It was how the factories were sort of gaining access to the fuel, because it was far easier to carry a load of coal on the water, obviously in a boat, than it was by road. And the boatmen would have loaded the barges up with coal, gone from one end to the other, used enough coal for their engines, unloaded, got paid at the factories, like the jam factory or whatever it happened to be, and then they'd have gone back. And of course, boatmen work 7 days a week, which is why they were called heathens, he says, as an ordained minister of religion. A little tiny bit unfair, but they were, because they couldn't go to church. Fascinating fact for you. Right, so I'm going to have to get some more glasses done, aren't I? My new catchphrase. So I think that's nearly it for this little one. It was just a little short one. We were out and about and thought, good job we brought the camera. I saw this actually. This is quite nice, like a ice cream van type thing. Sadly closed at the moment. But yeah, there we are. Hope you've enjoyed this little pottering evening. Very, very nice, and gonna come here again. Oh dear. No, I really, really am. It's absolutely lovely. So on that note, I'll say thanks for watching, sign off here, and we'll see you on the next one. Bye for now.